Samanthaazira here. Thanks to everyone who viewed my last video about my Switch collection. That seemed to do really well. Not exactly sure why, but I wanted to go ahead and keep on that Switch train, and I want to talk about some of the games that I would put on my Christmas wish list. And hopefully this gives you guys some ideas of maybe what you would possibly want to ask for Christmas or just possibly pick up for yourself. So let's get started. I want to go ahead and get the obvious out of the way. Super Mario Wonder. I did not pick this up on launch day, and it's not because I'm not interested in the title. It definitely looks interesting. It's a 2D platforming Mario game, but I wasn't in a rush to pick it up. But a lot of the reviews seem to be doing really well. If you guys have picked up this game and you've really enjoyed it, let me know in the comments down below if it's worth that $60 price tag. But it seems to be a very unique experience, and Nintendo's very good about that, about working outside of their comfort zone. But if this is a game that you recommend, let me know what you thought of it. Another one, Mario RPG. Now, I have mixed feelings about buying games that are remastered at full price, although it's warranted because of the work, which is why I'm conflicted, because what they're doing is remastering an old game. Now, Mario RPG was on the Super Nintendo, and although I haven't beaten the game, I've played around with it a little bit. I own it both physically and for the SNES Mini. But sometimes I feel a little weird about buying those games at full value when I'm getting a similar but different experience. And if you guys think I'm just talking madness, let me know in the comments down below. But Mario RPG is a gem of a game. It is definitely worth the playthrough, so I would put that on my Christmas wish list as well. Although I'm not the biggest RPG person, Live Alive really caught my interest from the moment I started hearing about it. You get to play, I believe, as like 8 different characters through 8 different stories, and so this seems like a game that would keep you pretty occupied and keep your attention for an extended period amount of time, because you get to experience 8 different worlds from 8 different perspectives. Now, I haven't actually played this game or the demo, which is why it's on my Christmas list, but it seems like a game I could definitely enjoy. Cloa got a release on the Switch, and it's a remaster, I believe, of the first and second games released on the PlayStation and PlayStation 2. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. I only experienced Cloa 2 on the PlayStation 2, which I still own in my collection, but it would be really cool to have that game in my collection for the Switch. That way I can play it not only like on an HDMI TV, but I could also experience the older game as well. I really enjoyed my time with Cloa, and I don't even know how it got into my collection other than I think it was a random game my mom picked up, and I enjoyed the heck out of it. If you guys have never played the Cloa series, you're definitely like sleeping on it. This game's a little bit different than my norm. Catherine Full Body is a game that was released on the Switch as a port. I originally played this game on the PlayStation 3. I never beat it, but it's not a role-playing game, but there is a storyline where you're interacting with friends and going to different locations, but every time you fall asleep, you fall into this like nightmare state where there's a puzzle that you have to work through in order to survive the dream, because if you die in the dream, you die in real life. And your main character ends up in this like love triangle where he's got his girlfriend Catherine, but he also messed around with another girl named Catherine, and the one that he messed around with that's not his girlfriend is, like, if I remember correctly, is kind of insane. But I want to add this to my Switch collection so that I can try playing it again, but actually play through the entire game. Now, this one is just a hopeful. I'm putting it on my list because I would like to add it to my collection, but honestly, it sold out so quickly and the price went up so fast that I would be surprised if I ever added it to my collection. But the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster, I never played the original Final Fantasy series, and honestly, I don't play a lot of Final Fantasy, but it would be very cool to have all of the pixelated versions in one space instead of trying to find them for all the different platforms they ended up releasing them in. You know, between the US and Japan, you know, what, they got 3, we got 6, something like that. It would be very convenient to have it all in one space in a portable situation and be able to just play through the original series from the get-go. But like I said, the price of that one has been going up. The next one on my list actually ended up here because of FemTrooper. She ended up recommending a game called Harvest Stella, and it is a farming JRPG game. Now, I play farm sims not on a regular basis. I'm not like a hardcore, like cozy gamer, and I'm also not like a really hardcore JRPG person. However, this sounds like a very interesting concept where you're working your way through this JRPG and you're farming your own supplies for the game is what I understand. Of course, I haven't played it, and I would love to get it for Christmas this year if someone wants to get it, but it was an interesting enough concept that it's on sale right now on Amazon for about like $30. So I think it would be worth a playthrough. Next up on the list is Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. I don't think I've ever played this one on the Game Boy. I remember playing like Oracle of Ages and Seasons, but in terms of the Game Boy, I don't think I ever played this game, and I like the remake on this one. And I know I was just talking about how I didn't really like paying money for like remasters, but since I've never experienced this one, I think for me this one's a little bit easier. The cartoonish looks, it's okay. I don't think it's like my all-time favorite, but I don't know how else they would have done it. But it looks like a very interesting game and a must-have to have in the collection. This next one is one I just recently heard about, Valferis. It looks like it's a 2D shooter game, kind of resembles Metroid, but it's like heavy metal and pixelated. And although it may not be completely up my alley, it looks like a game that you could have a lot of fun with, and it seems like it's got a lot of style, and games that incorporate like heavy metal into it always seem to be just really interesting. For me, music also is a big part of gaming for me, and although I'm not like a heavy metal like listener, I love games that like to go a different route than just like the traditional like background music. And last but not least, Nuni II. And the reason I want this on my list is because in my last video, I talked about what games I owned in my Switch collection. And when I talked about Ni no Kuni and the fact that I hadn't played it, a lot of people stood behind that game, saying it was a really good game. And to be honest, I'm about to go on a 6-hour flight one way and then back with my Nintendo Switch, and I plan on trying this game, and I have a feeling I'm going to fall in love with it. So I want this one to be on my list as well. And honestly, when you look up this game, it's extremely cheap right now. And it sounds like it's just an overall good series. You could add both of these games to your collection for less than $60 easy. So those are the games on my Christmas wish list for Nintendo Switch games. Now, does it matter if I get these for Christmas or not? No, it's more of my own personal wish list. If people happen to get it for me for Christmas, that's great. But if any of these games gave you any ideas of what you might want to add to your collection, or possibly games that you think you might want to gift others, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you everyone for joining me in this year, and I hope you guys all have a Merry Christmas. I probably will put out a couple more videos this month, Christmas themed. If you have something you'd like to see from me, let me know in the comments down below. But don't forget guys, there's a pixelated world waiting out there for you.